answer some questions, but I got to get upstairs. So before we shut it down, though, I want to talk about the N word as they call it, because I think I was telling you about we had a situation where a white brother who I had on this channel, who I was gonna put together some conversations. Our brother Chris Harris actually beat him up, and got upset with me in the process. But I was trying to set up some other conversations with this individual and some other brothers, but Chris exposed him so bad. The brother actually said, "I don't know Christian history, but you got apologetics for your title." And so it turned out he called a black man on his channel a bird ass nigga. And in his mind, it was okay for him to say, because he put the GA instead in the ER on it. Mm. So you had an interesting, because at that point, I was almost got into the Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. Maybe we should just, because you got text like this coming up with this rationale. I listen to Tupac, and when I'm listening to Tupac, I'm not saying it in the race. Like, so you had a perfect answer and a perfect response to these individuals who try to come up with this rationale on why they should be able to share this particular with us.
Yeah, man. So and actually we have it was a debate on SVDL that we did. Actually, it's probably, I think it's the most viewed debate on the channel. Me and one of the OGs and Yame broke it down, and I felt bad debating Yame on this because he was bust. You know what I'm saying? So to debate the use of the N-word with somebody who like actually experienced certain forms of, you know what I'm saying, like our history in terms of segregation and desegregation and all of that, it was difficult. But the way that it was broken down by, and I encourage everybody to go read this article. It's on the question of nigga authenticity. Ronald Judy kind of explains how the term nigga is affective. It's felt. You know what I mean? And in order for it to be felt and to be understood, that means that it's similar experiences that we go through, you know what I'm saying, that make it to where when we use the term, we know what we're talking about. Like what we was talking about, like if I'm like, yo, don't fuck with them niggas over there. You know what I'm saying? But then you like, hey, yo, them is my niggas, bro. You saying the same word, but they mean two different things, right? Because I think the issue is people be like, oh, it has a negative connotation. Yes, it can. It could definitely be negative than a motherfucker. Like if you say it like them niggas, just how you said niggas is them niggas we not fucking with, clearly. But you know what I'm saying? If it's like, hey, them niggas got it's some niggas up the, you know what I mean, up the street doing whatever, but like them niggas, it's like, not a, you know what I mean? Them niggas, the first them niggas was a threat. The second them niggas, it was like, you know what I'm saying? That's good. So, but in order to understand that affect, you have to experience the reverberations of slavery. You feel me? Like, so like you have to, like, a part of who you are has to be a part of the evolution of that word. Because what me and you talked about was that, like, when I first heard the word nigga, it wasn't nothing negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't hear it. I didn't learn the word from the context of slavery, from the context of white supremacy. Shit, I remember being, and this is the example I always use because I think it was when I first developed my relationship with the word. But I lived Silver City Projects in Kansas City. We was in the toy box, jumping around singing, I'd rather be your N-I-G-G-A. So we can, and again, because he's talking about so we can get drunk and smoke weed all day. Now again, shout
out to my favorite rapper of all time.
You know what I mean? And so, of course, I shouldn't be talking about smoking and drinking, right? But as a kid, I know that. Right? But the flip side to that is, I'm learning that a nigga is something that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be that. Not that other shit. I'd rather be your nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be. And then, matter of fact, according to Pac specifically, he was like, I don't want to be your man. I want to be your nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Out with sport coat.
You feel me? So, You know, so with that understanding, it wasn't until I went to school and learned about slavery that I learned, like, oh no, that's a bad word. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about the context, culturally, like it means something different to us. It has the history that it has, but that's a very but to say that it's only tied to that history is a very common fallacy, right? That's a fallacy of etymology. The initial usage of a word does not mean that that's the only definition that's applicable. So when we say, yo, oh, nigga got this history, that didn't have nothing to do with how I learned the term. That didn't have nothing to do with how it was taught to me. That history is secondary to what the term means to me and the people around me. You feel me? And really, when it comes to white people using it, the specific thing that Ronald Judy pointed out is that when the term nigger, because before that it was only it was a Latin, there was these Latin cognates of Negro, so black, dark, right? That's what was being used to describe just the people, period. It wasn't until the term nigger got to the Virginia colonies that it only meant slave labor. So that means that when the term was introduced into the white lexicon, it was codified into their understanding as slave labor. That's it. So even when white people attempt to add the ER, their lives aren't shaped by the experiences that make that A make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like even like that's why we even be like, yo, like he don't even say nigga right. Like you can tell somebody who don't say nigga often. You know what I mean? Like, and then other niggas, like myself, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, like, I even got to ask after the fact. It's like, listen, I don't ask permission. I
didn't even trip off of it either, but you did.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because niggas then came to me and be like, hey, bro, I just appreciate if I don't understand why you got to use that language. And then I explain it to him. You feel me? Because I think ultimately, and what Ronald Judy helped me understand, and I won't be too long with you so you can get to the, you know what I'm saying, so you can get upstairs. Ronald Judy explains that the question of what it means to be a nigger is the question of what it means to be human. Because ultimately, how the nigger became the nigger was a thing, like was a person that was reduced down to a thing. And even in that thingness, even in that objectification, they still found subjectivity. So like we saying like a person being made an object, but that object being so rebellious against that objectification that it then creates its own form of humanhood. That's how we get niggas. That's why like the way that we understand niggas, it's much deeper than like even when like yeah, them white niggas, or even when we around niggas and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna refer to a white person as a nigga. But no, you can't say it, right? Because the impact, what it took for me for that A to make sense to me, what it took, you ain't experienced that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't experienced that. Nor can you tap in, because whiteness is parasitic. And then we could get into, you know what I'm saying, the ontology of whiteness and how, white ain't even really necessarily a race. It's the absence of race, right? White isn't a color. It's the absence of color. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about the ability for whiteness to be able to tap into that ethos, the nigga ethos, it can't, because it only knows how to objectify niggas. It don't know how to do nothing else. It only know how to use niggas. It takes the labor from niggas. That's the dialectical relationship of whiteness and blackness. You know what I'm saying? It's the using niggas is like, I mean, the slave relationship, like blackness and labor are uniquely tied. You feel me? Uniquely tied. We'll never be able to, that relationship will never be able to be anything different. That's why we talk about the 1%. It's mostly white people, right? The people who get paid the least for the same amount of work. The people who that's niggas, right? The people who get the least amount and put the most in, that's niggas. That is the dialectical relationship of race in the United States. So because I know a lot of people like to just think that like racism is just not liking another race. Nah, racism is a unilateral hierarchy that flows one way, top to bottom, and everything else in the middle is negotiated. But the whiteness negotiates itself as the peak, with blackness being the antithesis of that, which means that even when they attempt to tap into the culture, because of their parasitic relationship, it's only work what I'm saying, to the benefit of whiteness and to the degradation of blackness. Even if you're using, and the last thing I say, even if you're using Tupac, right? Tupac's words coming out of your mouth is commodification. That's the only reason you know who he is. But his message can't resonate because you ain't experienced what Pac experienced. The same way that.
Damn it. Hey, man, you almost made me get the Holy Ghost. Shit.
Yeah.
You took me to church. So look.